Sports for Real with Coach Hall. High school football season is about to hit full bloom. They already kicked off for real in Georgia last week, and tonight there'll be a few games sprinkled around the state with the majority of the teams kicking off tomorrow. But as I think about the start of another high school football season, I can't help of thinking of how the Florida High School Athletic Association seems to have downgraded over the years. For instance, right now you have a situation where it seems like anybody with, a pulse can make the playoffs, and they might be stuck in a district with 2 or 3 teams, where you might have another district with 6 or 7 teams. There seems to be no balance, and it appears that all the association really cares about is how much money can they generate from these playoff games. It's a watered down version. But when you think about a direct comparison to the past, I started to think about that 1985 year. I kind of spoke of that briefly when I was giving the historical lesson on Emmitt Smith, Leroy Butler connection in high school football. But in 1985 in Florida, that is the first year they came up with Class 5A. And in my particular school's case, they had won the previous district they were in for the last 5 years, not winning the last one, so they actually won 4 years in a row. But that school, along with the school that deposed them, Middleburg, they were all put in the district with Jacksonville Lee, who had won the district 8 straight years, and Inglewood, who was, they won a great program and never really been known for football. And then you have Perennial Power Reigns, who had came down from the old 4A, stayed in 4A, and they will complete the district. So you had a heavy loaded district when only one team could come out. Note what I just said. Only one team back then qualified for the playoffs. Had that same district existed today under the same rules, you probably end up with 3 teams in the playoffs. But still, you have to play the games and according to the rules that are in place at that particular time. Now, when I think about all the teams that can make the playoffs now, and with the rules kind of lax where players can just move around when they get ready, it kind of reminds me of what's taking place in college football right now with this realignment stuff. Here you have a situation where Stanford and California, who were left out of the Big Ten sweep and destruction of the Pac-12, are considering going all the way to the ACC to join their conference, which means that their teams are going to consistently be in the air trying to go to games. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But football determines all of these different things now because they generate such huge contracts with the TV networks. So really, it's the TV networks that are conducting all of these different things. So the university presidents, they haven't stepped in and tried to put a stop to things, and it's going to just spiral more out of control until they do so. But it reminds you, it's like a trickle-down effect. It's like the rules in the NFL. They come up with some rule, the next thing you know, it shows up in college, and it drips all the way down to the high school level. So where does it end? I don't know. But as I think about high school football, all I want to do is see somebody play some good football, get entertained, and move on to the next week. But when you're looking at some of these schools now where their rosters look like college rosters, what I mean by that is, you got, instead of a neighborhood team, you got players from all over the region, What's the point? Next, you're going to have ineligible players being allowed to play, and then you're really going to see things spiral out of control. So anyway, let's just celebrate the start of high school football season, and hopefully someday things will come back to a point where they all make sense. Sports for real.